guys! I was just looking at some of the really cool portraits inspired by Pablo Picasso made by some of you guys. Come on, take a look! This week I have another really cool artist to teach you guys about. Last week we learned about artist Henri Matisse, and the week before that we learned about artist Pablo Picasso. Both of those artists are considered to be modern artists because they made up a new type of art that had never been done before. The artist that we're going to learn about today is another modern artist, and his name is Jean-Michel Basquiat. Here is a picture of what he looked like. Jean-Michel Basquiat's artwork was inspired by both Pablo Picasso and Henri Matisse, and you'll see why when you look at some of his pictures. Here's what you need to know about artist Jean-Michel Basquiat. He was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1960. That's only 1 year before my mom was born. He spoke both Spanish and French because his mother was from Puerto Rico and his father was from Haiti, and he used a lot of Spanish and French words in his artwork. Jean-Michel Basquiat was inspired by medical books. He loved to look at the pictures of the human body, and he used those images to inspire some of his artwork. He started out as a graffiti artist in New York City, and you'll see the influence of graffiti art in his artwork. Jean-Michel Basquiat was a really cool guy, and he loved both music and art, and he was actually in a really popular hip-hop band in New York City. Here's some of the wild artwork by Jean-Michel Basquiat. A lot of similar things in each one of Jean-Michel Basquiat's artworks. Most of his artworks either focus on faces or bodies of humans. He added a lot of different words to his artwork because he loved reading. People say that as he was making his artwork, he would have all of his favorite books spread out around him, and he would pick words and sentences from the books and add them into his artwork. His artwork had lots of scribbles of color, and those were to show his emotion while he made the artwork. Finally, a lot of his artwork had many of the same small images, such as a king's crown, skulls, and little pictures of animals. No other artist had ever made art like Jean-Michel Basquiat before, and people loved how much emotion they were able to see in his artwork. Today we're going to steal some of those ideas and make our own wild, scribbly, and emotional artwork inspired by Jean-Michel Basquiat. Here are my examples for this lesson. Let's get started. Here's what you'll need for today's artwork. A pencil, an eraser, something to trace it with, and something to color with, like crayons or colored pencils. And I really don't suggest using markers for this artwork, but if that's all you have, that's okay too. Your paper goes short and fat for this artwork. Alright, let's get started. So, we are going to be making an artwork inspired by Jean-Michel Basquiat, and we are going to kind of copy his ideas of how he liked to draw the human body and skulls. And then we're going to add some different words to show how we feel and some color to show our emotions as well. We're going to start by drawing an oval for our skeleton's head. And it does not have to be a perfect oval. Jean-Michel Basquiat's artwork was never perfect. So I'm just going to draw a long, skinny oval for the head of my skeleton. Next, let's add the body. And we're going to draw a combination of a neck and a body, and the lines are going to just be one line. So we're going to come down for the neck, over for the shoulder, and all the way down to the bottom of our paper. Down for the neck, over for the shoulder, and all the way down to the bottom of our paper. I'm going to erase this part right here and make my neck just a little bit wider. There we go. So remember we talked about how Jean-Michel Basquiat was interested in the human body. So a lot of the time when he was drawing a person or a skeleton, he would draw the spinal cord of the person coming down the middle of the body, kind of like we were an X-ray and we were seeing into their torso. So we're going to draw two straight lines that come down all the way from underneath the chin, like that. And then we're going to draw some lines going across, and that's going to show the vertebrae in your spine. And Jean-Michel Basquiat never drew his lines perfectly. He always kind of made them hang out of where they're supposed to be in, and it just kind of gave everything more emotion and more feeling. Now let's add that creepy skeleton face. So, he always did big, round orb eyes. No pupils inside because it's a skeleton. I'm going to give mine some eyelashes, but you don't have to. You could give yours eyebrows if you want to. Then he did a triangle pointing up for the nose, because this is just the hole where your nose is in your skull. And now let's add the mouth. I'm going to do a rectangle like this, and then I'm going to add some teeth, and I'm going to do that same thing where I make my lines just a little bit too long. On top of our skeleton's head, let's add that king's crown that he is really famous for adding to almost every one of his artworks. So it's just a straight line across, and then 3 pointy bumps. I added some hair in this one. I just did 2 little curly lines coming off like that. If you want to add some spiky hair or whatever kind of hair you'd like to add, or you could just leave your person bald, that's up to you. I'm going to give mine some crazy hair sticking out the side like that. Alright, let's add some arms. And we're just going to keep them really simple. We're going to do a straight line out, and we're going to do some fingers kind of hanging downwards. And then I'm going to make another arm over here that's uneven, so it's going to be a little bit lower. Straight line out. Some creepy fingers hanging down. Now we're going to start adding some personal touches to your artwork to make it describe you and how you are feeling. So, on this hand here of your skeleton, I want you to draw a little picture of something that you love or something that you like, kind of floating right here above the hand as if you are holding it. So you can draw whatever you want there. You could draw a video game controller, a basketball, you could draw a picture of your cat, you could draw a cupcake, whatever you'd like to draw, something that you really like. I want you to draw a little tiny picture of it right here. I'm sure you guys are not surprised that I drew a plant. Alright, now on the other hand, I want you to draw a picture of something that you don't like floating above it. It could be a rain cloud, it could be a piece of paper that's a test, it could be liver and onions, a picture of something that you do not like floating here above that hand. I just drew an angry face. I don't like angry people, and I also don't like feeling angry. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some different rectangles kind of floating around our person. And in each of those rectangles, we're going to write a word that describes how we're feeling. Okay? So I want you to draw 3 or 4 different sized rectangles floating around the outside of your skeleton person. And they can go horizontally, they can go vertically, they can go diagonal, whatever way you want them to go. You're going to pick 3 or 4 different words. 1 word will go in each of these rectangles. Okay? In one box, you can just write any random word that you think of. It can be any word at all that you think of. The first word I thought of was pencil, so that's what I'm going to write. Jean-Michel Basquiat wrote in capital letters a lot, so I'm going to write in all capitals, but you can write however you want. Now in another box, I want you to write a word that describes how you're feeling. I'm going to write in this box right here, and since it's diagonal, I turned my paper a little bit, just so it'll make it easier to write. So I'm going to write a word here that shows how I feel. And I'm just going to write okay, because I feel okay today. Now pick another box and write a word that describes something about your personality. It can be anything. Happy, it could be mean, it could be silly, whatever word you want to write that describes your personality. So pick one of your boxes and write a personality word about you. I wrote the word kind in my box because I think I'm kind. I hope so, at least. Now you might have one more box, you might not. You can write whatever other word that you want to write in that box. I'm going to write the word sunny, just because it's a nice sunny day. All right, now I want you to pick at least 3 different words to write just kind of floating around your person. You can write them in different handwriting. You can write them really tiny. You can write them really big. You can write them sloppy. You could write a line from a book you're reading or something from a poem. You can write any words that you want floating around your person. I'm going to do something really cool and flip my paper upside down so that some of my words are upside down when I write them. All right, I'm all done adding my words, and now it is time to trace. So grab your black marker and make sure that you trace this drawing. It's really important that you trace this one because the way that we're going to color it, if you do not trace, your coloring is going to cover up all of your nice details that you drew. So make sure that you trace. All right, once you're done tracing, it's time for the fun part. I want you to pick some colors that go with the words that you use on your artwork. So for sunny, I picked yellow. For pencil, I picked orange. For kind, I picked purple. And for okay, I picked blue. And then I just picked green because green is my favorite color. All right, once you have your colors picked, and you may pick more than I picked, or you can pick less than I picked, it's up to you. This is how you're going to color it in. You're just going to pick one color and you're just going to scribble right on top of everything that you drew. Get your next color, scribble. Remember we talked about how Jean-Michel Basquiat liked to add a lot of scribbles of color to his artwork to show how he was feeling. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So you are going to scribble in your whole paper using some different colors. You can be as sloppy or as neat as you want. I'm taking some inspiration from Jean-Michel Basquiat, and I'm being very messy and sloppy, and I'm putting all my emotion and my feeling into my artwork. Here's one that I did earlier that I'm already finished with. Now this is the one and only time that I will let you leave some different white spaces in between your scribbles, but make sure that you mostly filled your whole entire picture with colors. If you want to be neater and color in some parts, like in this one I colored in my plant, I did a little cloud over here and colored in my crown just to make them stand out, you may, or you can just scribble the whole thing in and just channel Jean-Michel Basquiat and let all your emotions out into your artwork. I can't wait to see what you come up with. All right, see you next time.